Turned out to be a good time then to head across to the Motilal Oswal Global Investor Conference. Nimesh is out there and he has with him Gautam Duggad. So Nimesh, our question to Gautam is going to be, I mean, you can take it away. The market has got such great ammunition in the form of good Q1 earnings. I wonder if Gautam feels that this kind of, great upward momentum is going to continue.
Thanks, Arvish. So in fact, he spoke about that in the curtain raiser as well. But today, I'm getting Gautam to generally, give us a wrap on day one because SBI spoke at the conference and that is up 3%. Hindalco spoke at the conference and there is generally a bit of momentum towards metals as well. So, Gautam, thank you very much for talking to CNBC TV18. I could actually sense a lot of, buzz. There are a lot of large investors who have come for the conference as well. What is the general mood from the corporates as well as from the investors?
So, general mood is quite positive. As you can see, there's a huge turnout. A lot of people are optimistic about the earnings recovery. The presentations that we have seen have given a very positive start. People are talking about upturn in the economy. Demand has been very strong. The Niti Aayog Vice Chairman did speak about a kick-starting of private investment cycle as well. We've heard the SBI Chairman talk about the worst of asset quality issues being behind. Pratik Pota of Jubilant Foodworks also talked about the big consumption of cycle ahead and various disruptions which are unfolding in those specific spaces. So I think given the way the results have panned out for the quarter that has just gone behind, the outlook looks very good, and that is what is the reflection of that, the manifestation of that we are seeing here at the conference on day one at least.
Gautam, the other big space which is done well today in today's market is the metals names. You had Hindalco management. In fact, you spoke to CNBC as well. Generally, on the metals names, what's your sense? Because I believe even on the steel side, you believe there is a bit of a upcycle now on steel as well.
So metals, we have seen for the last 5-6 quarters a very strong upturn. We have seen strong volume growth. Pricing has been, obviously, we have all seen how LME prices have behaved. So that has provided a big operating leverage. And to combine that, you had seen some deleveraging also happening in select cases. So all of that put together has meant that for 5-6 quarters we have seen almost triple-digit earnings growth for our metals universe. Having said that, now we are entering a phase where the base is becoming a little more adverse and stock prices have run up quite meaningfully for the last couple of years. So while we are still seeing a very good spread in the steel, specifically on the ferrous side, but I would like to remain cautious on that particular pack because I think the best of the earnings as far as metals is concerned in the near term is behind us.
Gautam, I spoke to a lot of investors and one of the themes which was discussed was the fact that especially in private banks, you're going to see a lot of churn in terms of the top level management for the next 12 to 18 months in IndusInd Bank, HDFC Bank, Axis, so to speak. In fact, Yes Bank as well. In fact, Yes Bank is going to be a keynote speaker at the end of the day today. Generally, what's the sense when you talk to your investor clients towards these names? Because in the next 12 to 18 months, you're going to see a lot of change in terms of top management.
So clearly, that is something which is a known unknown. We know that change is going to happen. Clearly, this being bank, the person who's at the helm of the affairs become even more important, unlike say a commodity company or a brand company where the product does the job most of the time. Here the person who's helming the affairs bears a disproportionate importance on the way things are ran. Having said that, I think these are all short-term volatility which will be there around the corner for next couple of quarters till the time the dust settles down on these matters. But that cannot be allowed to create a problem around the long-term opportunity which some of these banks offer. These are banks which have been run by very astute managements, and I have no doubt that the successors that will be chosen for most of these banks will continue that good job ahead. And clearly the kind of opportunity that lies ahead, we've talked about value migration from public sector to private sector bank multiple times in the past, and that I think is one of the big things which will play out over the next 5 to 10 years on the annual. So whatever short-term disruption, short-term volatility that you see, I think 3 years down the line or 5 years down the line, we will not be talking about this. Having said that, as I said in the beginning, the SBI chairman's address at the as a kickstart of the conference, he clearly spoke about the asset quality woes of corporate banks having seen the worst, fresh slippage generation coming off, moderating, and therefore from a short-term point of view, tactically there could be some portfolio shift which will continue to happen in favor of private corporate banks away from the slightly more expensive and richly valued private retail banks.
Okay. The last before I let you go, Gautam, but the other sector which has been in the limelight today is the power space. REC, PFC, Tata Power, all are buzzing in trade today, and you have Power Minister Piyush Goyal joining in at the end of the day. Generally on the power space, what's your personal view, and where do you think the reforms are going to come, which will have a positive impact on all these power companies?
I think what has afflicted the power space over the last couple of years has been the whole creation of stress asset in that space. Secondly, we have not seen any excitement on the PPA side, and that is why you've not seen much excitement on the earnings and consequently on the stock price returns also. So we have an underweight on that space, and by and large we have an underweight on utility space, notwithstanding the moderate valuations or most of the stocks, NTPC, Power Grid, they fall in the value zone. But because of the lack of earnings growth, we have not seen much preference toward that space, and that's how it continues for us. We continue to have preference for earnings visibility plays where there is a couple of years of earnings visibility on the anvil. We like private banks, as I said. We continue to like consumption space. We continue to like autos. Power, we have a preference for Power Grid within our model portfolio, but I think that's where it stops.
Okay, Gautam, I know you have to rush back for the United Breweries main track, so I'll let you go. Thank you very much for talking to CNBC TV18, and thanks for the takeover. Thank you.
Okay, all right. That was the Nation conversation with Gautam Duggad. Just shy of 11,700. That's the way this day has turned out. Can you really complain? 450 points up on the Sensex.